Welcome to another episode of the Taco Podcast. If you're new here, let me introduce myself. My name is Will Finley, and I am the creator behind the content on this channel, the Taco Podcast. Today I want to talk to you about signs of autism, quirks, if you will, of autism. And the reason why I'm making this video today is, well, it's actually twofold. The first reason is a creator that I am friends with who makes content on YouTube had recently come under attack. Some people said some pretty nasty things in a video about this individual because they don't understand the quirks, if you will, of autism. They don't understand what autism is in itself. And autism is a spectrum from one end to another. There are people with very mild symptoms, and disabilities from autism, and then there are people who are on the far end, who have more severe, setbacks and disabilities, side effects, if you will, of autism. But I'm not going to get into that, all the different things in the spectrum. What I wanted to talk to you about is the differences and things and how it expresses. Someone with autism may express themselves and how differently they express themselves to others out there in society. If you meet someone who is on the autism spectrum, either one end or the other, and these signs and disabilities can be either from one end to the other. If you meet someone on the spectrum and they don't make direct eye contact with you, it's not because they are ashamed of something. It's not because they are trying to hide something from you. And where a lot of that issue comes from with people who are not familiar with those on the autism spectrum is they try to play detective. They hear or they see videos about people who are trying to hide something. Maybe they saw a video or read something online about body language. And because they say, well, one of the clues are if someone's hiding something from you, they won't make eye contact with you. For someone who is on the spectrum, you have to understand how and what's going on in here. If they don't make eye contact with you, and I'm going to use my son as an example because he is on the spectrum, and when he looks at something or someone's face, his mind inside is taking thousands of pictures, individual snapshots of your entire face, your eyes, your nose, your mouth. He is taking thousands and thousands of snapshots in his mind. He can't tell you that he's doing it, and he'll make brief eye contact with you for just a tiny little part and then look down and away. This is how his mind has developed to the point to deal with what's going on. Because otherwise, if he was to look at you directly in the eyes, he would become overwhelmed immediately. Again, this sign, this symptom, this disability, if you will, shows up from people on the low end all the way to the more severe end. They may not all look down at you. They may look at you briefly and then look away, or they may be looking off to the left or right, or they may find an item on a table and focus on that while still communicating with you, talking with you. Does it mean that my friend, who is a YouTube creator, is embarrassed, lying, mean, hateful, brash, because she doesn't make eye contact with others out there when she's making her video? Let's not forget for a second. She is extraordinarily brave and should be commended for what she is doing. Imagine you had a disability that everyone could see every second of the day. You would never be able to hide who you are. Doesn't matter how much makeup you put on, how you do your hair, whatever you do, your disability is going to be on full display all day long. And I hate using the word disability, so please don't get me wrong out there in the community. I'm only using that word to express it to everyone for those who do not understand what autism is. It's a disability to them. To us and those who are familiar with autism, autism isn't a disability. It's a uniqueness. It's a special gift. They're just as smart as everyone else out there. They should be commended for what they do and everything that they accomplish, just like everyone else. They should be treated just like everyone else. They have emotions, they have feelings, they have everything else like everybody else out there that is quote unquote neurotypical. Other signs that may express themselves in the autism community, again from one end to the other, is just being quiet. You may think of them as quirky or a wallflower. There are a lot of different terms that people use to express that this individual is extraordinarily quiet or keeps themselves. You may have had an aunt or an uncle or niece or nephew or someone in your family who very well may have been on the spectrum, but instead the family always said they were unique, they were special, they were different, they're a wallflower. Because in a situation where they are not familiar, where they are not, feeling comfortable and they're overstimulated, maybe there's music or a lot of chatter or people talking in the background, they clam up. They don't want to talk. They don't want to communicate. Well, back that up just a little bit. They want to, but inside of their minds, they kind of slow down themselves, and they may not even know it themselves that they're doing that, and they withdraw because they're being overstimulated by the environment around them. Again, if my friend doesn't put out YouTube content, doesn't do live streams, and this person doesn't go forward and put themselves out there in front of the world to be ridiculed or to hopefully be supported, you have to understand that it's a sign of and a symptom of their autism. Things are going on in their lives. Things are going on in your life. Things are going on in my life behind the camera. You have to understand how we all deal with things differently. How you may deal with a tragedy or a setback may be completely different from the next person. And I'm talking about two different individuals on this who are not on the the autism spectrum, but are quote unquote neurotypical. We both deal with issues in our lives in a different way. Now, you throw in something like autism. How do you deal with it? You don't know, and nor can you judge them without truly knowing everything about them and what is going on in their lives. Maybe they don't have the best support group or people to talk to, and to be able to work things out. But what's important, though, is that we are here as a society to help support everyone. It doesn't matter who you are. If you have a twin brother or a twin sister, you may look alike, but you're different. There are subtle differences between the two of you. One may deal with things one way, one may deal with things in a different way. One may be successful at this, one may not be successful at that, even if you're identical twins or fraternal twins. So how is it that we have to try to put people into a box and say, they're not being truthful because they won't look at me. They're being mean or hateful or withdrawn from us because they're not looking at me directly in the eye. How is it that we are to judge them again? Because they don't put themselves out there in front of us. Have you ever done something like this? Put yourself in front of millions and millions of people on a daily basis just for them to tear apart everything about how you look, how you sound, how you act, how you look at the camera, how you act, how your hair is, how your makeup is, how your environment around you is? Could you imagine what that's like for just a second? Now, imagine my friend who is on the spectrum. And this is the second fold of what I'm talking about. Imagine for just a second, with all that in context, people want to tear this person down. They may say, well, I have the best intentions. I just wanted to say, you've been a little brash. How does that translate and how is it received to the person on the spectrum? This is where you need to stop. You need to think about what you're going to say and how it's going to be perceived. And you should be doing this with everyone in society, not just people who are on the spectrum. Again, they have the same emotions, the same feelings, the same way they have to deal with life. They have ups and downs and triumphs and successes and failures just like everyone else. But society, again, for the second part of this, needs to realize that we have to be more supportive. Just because it's instantaneous world of here it is, here is that ugly face again on my screen in front of me. You need to be more open to people are different and accept people for their successes and their failures. My heart goes out to this brave young woman. I put myself in that situation, and I say to myself, if I was on the spectrum and I was dealing with what she is dealing with, would I be able to do any of this? Would I be able to come online and be ridiculed for every aspect of who she is, or who I am, if I was to change places with her? I don't know if I'd be strong enough, brave enough to do it. But I know one thing for sure. There's an entire community of people out here who love and support this person. And we're going to be here. Even when all the negative comments come flooding her way and hurt her deep down inside, we're going to be here to support her, to hold her up, and to show to the world, look at just how brave this young woman is. Because we have an understanding. We have compassion. She has an understanding, and she has compassion. We're trying to do the best with the rest of the world around us swirling constantly and judging everything that we do. So, do you want to be the reason for change and the success and how we're moving this forward? Or do you instead wish to be the person who holds everyone else back, only looking out for your own self-worth and your own self-gain? I'm going to be one of the other. I'm going to be the person who is going to be here to move the envelope forward for success of our communities and for this young woman and for everyone else out there who is on the spectrum. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. I hope to see you all again soon. But, just like my friend, life gets in the way sometimes. And it makes it so we can't constantly do this. Yeah, it may suck. I may miss a weekend here or there. She may miss a video or a stream here and there. But we're doing the best we can. Because just like your life, not everything works perfectly smooth day in and day out. Have a great weekend, everyone, and stay safe out there. Until next time.